What other customizers do you kind of look up to or get inspiration from, if any, that you like to mention?
Mosh is a good friend. I look up to him just like a business sense. He's always mature. He knows how to carry himself, and just how to conduct business. Dank Lefts as well. Secure D, I think, has done a great job of cementing his own style. There's a bunch of guys that do great work. Emmanuel Labor is always really creative. There's a bunch of guys from like the forum days that I've, just been friends with.
So how long have you, been a part of the forum days? Well,
I first made an account and it was 2008 probably. And, it was Soul Collector and Nike Talk and NSB at the time. I think like the three big ones that we were really active on.
Okay, so you guys just kind of partnered up from there?
Yeah, it was, everyone was doing customs. So everyone, just kind of connected. It wasn't like there was a big community in like any one city. So everyone kind of flocked together online.
So aside from yourself, who would you say is the top tier in the game right now in terms of sneaker customizing?
I would say like Mosh and Security, Dank Lefts, they're kind of at the top as far as painting. With reconstructions, Emmanuel Labor does, I think, the most creative. Relevant Customs has been doing good work. They have stuff made in a factory though, so I don't know if you want to call them a customizer or not, but they are custom shoes at the end of the day, so take it as what you will.
Okay. What would you say distinguishes you from the rest of those guys?
I try and just have, the best designs with the cleanest execution, and that's always my goal, and just to make something that's really wearable. I try to stay away from doing just like overly ridiculous shoes. Unless it's, like that sign, unless it's like these threes with the fur inside where it's to tell a story.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I try to make things, really wearable and you incorporate a theme more subtly than, putting a character name and sports team logo on the side of a shoe.
Yeah. So is there anything in the game right now that you kind of just like don't give the approval to that you've been seeing like on customs that it's just kind of like,
I see a lot of stuff that's but most of the stuff that's happening is like really is it's just, the kind of iffy bad work. It's like younger kids, they're just starting and they're just figuring out like, if I do Red October, I can get orders on it. And so I don't want to say, that's a good thing ultimately to have like high school age kids making money painting shoes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like knock it too much. I won't do it, but let them have that money.
Okay. Is there any advice that you'd like to give some of those younger guys out there?
Yeah. Just be persistent and don't be afraid to, push the envelope from time to time. Don't get stuck in a rut just doing, don't just do Red October and Galaxy. Like actually be creative.
There have been some Hinder Scheme Jordans. Are you familiar with those?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those?
I like them a lot. I think Hinder Scheme might be on kind of thin ice, just like straight copying Nike for the most part.
Yeah.
But I like what they're doing, like really, those are handmade shoes, like really high quality, like, top of the line craftsmanship. So I like to see that just as a shoemaker. But I know a lot of people like won't understand it and won't understand why, just an all tan shoe costs, I think like $1,200.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to see it.
Okay, so is there, in terms of design, where do you see yourself wanting to be in terms of future aspirations?
Still in the sneakers for sure, but they'll be more sleek, more high end. It's really like understated kind of luxury items.
Okay. Is there a brand in particular that you like to work with, or you kind of just start from scratch?
No, I like being independent. I'm not really dying to latch onto a brand at all.
Where can you see the customization game going from here, looking towards the future?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think a lot of it depends on how Nike plays it with like their ID options, and as people like Adidas, like the Mi ZX Flux, you can just like print your own photographs on the shoes. I think it's gonna really be interesting to see how like painters respond to that, because Nike's kind of trying to compete with them. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Nike will force them to adapt.
Do you feel like Nike and these other brands are kind of hindering you guys from?
No, not at all. I don't think so in any way. If you're lazy, maybe they hinder you because they, obviously, if they see something successful, they're gonna copy it because it's their product ultimately.
Yeah.
So why not just make it a release? If they see Mosh or whoever sell, 100 pairs of Galaxy foams or what have you, of course they're gonna release it.
Yeah. Do you have any contacts at Nike that you've kind of talked to them about it, or they say anything to you?
Nah, not really.
So what's the biggest criticism you receive like for some of your pieces?
Just doing the same thing too much. People say I do Python too often. That's the biggest criticism, but that's not even really a criticism. That's just, you know, supply and demand. Like a bunch of people want Python, so I'm gonna keep doing it for a while. I'm stopping now. Today's the last chance.
Yeah, that's kind of like your thing though. So I kind of feel like, why would people make you, you know, stop doing what you're good at?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not them making me stop. It's just me being bored is, you know, the main reason for stopping. Is, you know, I've been doing them for like 2 years now, and that's been the majority of what I've done for that 2 years. So it's just time to move on.
So how do you deal with that criticism ultimately?
There's like not even anything to deal with in my eyes. It's just, you know, you ignore it. It doesn't, you know, it's Instagram comments really, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no one knows who they are.
It's really, like totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
I've held Flyknit Air Forces in my hand. They've never come out yet. They might never come out, but I've held them in my hand. So I don't know what the hell's coming out.
All right, well, I'll go through a few of the big releases this year that's coming out.
That 45 shoe, people, I remember the auction, and it got up to something crazy, but like, now that person that has that shoe, that has that whatever,
It's worth
they
it.
just brought it back, and it's like you just completely killed a shoe that should have never been retroed, in my opinion.